Alright, so this is going to be a quick video explaining my stance on how many times Malenia has bloomed or blossomed, and also my thoughts in response to something that's been repeatedly commented on any of my videos having to do with Millicent or Malenia where I mention the blooms and blossoms. Oh yeah, and I don't think that the scarlet bloom near the Haligtree Roots Grace Point is Malenia's. Now, a lot of people have brought this up to me in one of my Servants of Rot videos, and there's a lot of inaccuracies in that first video. It was like the second video I even made on Elden Ring lore, so of course, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of sound issues, there's just problems with the video. But I stand by what I said when it comes to Malenia only having bloomed twice. Now, in my Blind Swordsman video, I think I came up with a possible scenario where that bloom was hers, and that's just because I wanted to create a fun little narrative about the Blind Swordsman. And that narrative could still be true, just minus the part where I said that that bloom was from their fight. But anyway, my main reasoning for thinking that it's not her bloom is that Malenia doesn't leave behind a flower when she blossoms and turns into the Rot Goddess form. She becomes the bloom for a second, then comes out of it as the god form, or goddess form. As we see in both the cinematic trailer where she fights Radahn and our own fight with her when we get to her second phase. And of course when we defeat her, she turns into a really big flower again, which I imagine she'll come out of at some point, or she will surely become some kind of a nuisance in the future, only to be defeated again and then come back as an even bigger nuisance. Now I know some would say that the fact that we get her great rune after defeating her means that we've killed her for good and yada yada yada, but I'm not sure that proves anything, as Ranni, while she's partly undead or whatever in a weird state of existence, supposedly abandoned her great rune and didn't die. So I don't think that the demigods need these great runes to survive. It's more like just some kind of a power boost. My other reason for thinking that that small blossom in the Haligtree Roots bonfire area isn't hers is because you find the Traveling Maiden set at it, and who wears that? Millicent. So I think it's more likely that Gowry had previous attempts at making Scarlet Valkyries, just like he's doing with Millicent or her sisters, and that one of them made it that far, almost to Malenia herself. This is further backed up by Millicent's questline. At the end of it, you're forced to make a choice between helping her or helping her sisters kill her, and if you help her sisters kill her, when you're sent back to your world, you find a Scarlet Blossom in her place. And this Scarlet Blossom is of course identical to the one near the Haligtree Roots. So to me, if nothing else, that alone rules out the possibility of the flower and the roots being Malenia's. I think a lot of this confusion regarding whether or not she bloomed 3 times or if she only bloomed twice is all because of differing interpretations of an item description, namely the Scarlet Aconia incantation that you get from Malenia's boss soul, which says it has bloomed twice already, and with the 3rd bloom she'll become a true goddess. Now, I took this description to mean that she bloomed once against Radahn, and then once against us, and that she's still yet to bloom a 3rd time. Mainly because the only way you can get this spell is by killing her in an epic fight, that during which she technically dies and blooms as the Scarlet Goddess again. It's even in her boss name. Others have interpreted this description to mean that she bloomed twice somewhere before the fight, once against Radahn and some unknown time in between, and that the fact that she's called Rot Goddess in her 2nd form all but confirms that this is her 3rd bloom. I don't think that's the case. I think that when she blooms, she becomes the Rot Goddess, either until she's defeated or she's finished fucking up whoever she needs to fuck up. Then she powers down and becomes a flower again, I assume. At least that's what happens in the fight. But after Radahn, we know that she was carried back by, I think, a knight named Finley. But for all we know, Knight Finley probably cut her out of the big flower and carried her back to the Haligtree, where she rested until we fight her. Sorry if this video is getting a little all over the place. But I think a lot of the conflict on whether or not she bloomed twice or 3 times has to do with differing interpretations of that exact description. In my Blind Swordsman video, I cited the Prosthesis wearer emblem that mentions that when she faced off against her mentor, she gained wings of unparalleled strength, and I used it as possible evidence to support the narrative in the Blind Swordsman video that Malenia could have bloomed in a fight against her mentor. It's possible, but I don't think this is exactly what happened. I don't think she bloomed at all if she fought her mentor. Because the description of her weapon states that some could see the wings appear behind her when she raised it aloft, which matches up with the description of the Prosthesis wearer emblem. That's just something I wanted to sneak into this video. A little correction. I mean, I could still be wrong about her having already bloomed a second time in between the events of her fight with Radahn and when we meet her, but I don't think that that flower is any evidence of that. From item descriptions I've read, I think it's still possible to assume that she could have bloomed a second time against her mentor, or perhaps the first time against her mentor, judging by that one item description, but I think that that's me taking the description a little too literally just to support the narrative of the final fight being her third bloom. But yeah, this was just going to be a quick video. I just wanted to explain my stance that I do think Malenia bloomed for the second time in our fight against her, as I've only seen evidence that she only ever bloomed against Radahn. Anyway, I don't want to drag this video on any longer than it needs to be. I'm working on a couple things right now. I think the next one coming out will be the Miquella one. I always pronounce it wrong and people are always correcting me. I'm trying to say it right. Anyway, that one should be next. I'm working on something about the Revenants and the Wraith Callers. Ranni's plot is still almost finished. I just need to get around to finishing it. And of course, my non-Elden Ring Black Noir video I'm working on. Also, probably expect some Fallout stuff coming up because I decided to replay New Vegas because I saw a video that reminded me of it. But anyway, I'll stop rambling off the stuff I'm working on and let you guys go. If you liked the video, please like it. If you disliked it, please dislike it. If you disagree, please, tell me why in the comments. If you have anything to add or any of my theories that you can debunk, please share it in the comments. I always like discussing stuff. It's pretty much the whole reason I started this channel, because I have no friends to talk about this shit with. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow or the next day. Have a good one. See ya.
Oh. Hello. Thank you for lending your hand. Without your help, I could not have defeated that quartet. I feel as if I've been in your debt from beginning to end. Thank you. With your help, I was able to live as my own person, if only in passing. But this is where things end. I paused to even tell you, but I took out the needle myself. Tell whoever put you up to this that if I am to flower into something other than myself, I would rather rot into nothingness as I am. Please, let me pass alone. The scarlet rot writhes now. Worse than ever. Soon, I won't be more than a mound of flesh, curse-laden. Untouchable. I wouldn't want such a thing to bring you harm. Please, let me pass alone. The scarlet rot. Soon, I won't be more than a mound of flesh, curse-laden. I wouldn't want such a thing to bring you harm.